You finish a late dinner or a heavy evening snack and head straight for the couch or bed. It feels like a moment of relaxation, a chance for your body to power down and recover. However, lying down while the stomach is full forces the internal systems into an active, high-energy state that conflicts with the biological requirements for rest. Breaking down solid food is a heavy mechanical lift. A meal often requires 2 to 4 hours in the stomach alone. This process demands a massive diversion of blood flow and intense energy to fuel the digestive muscles. When you go horizontal right after eating, your body is forced to prioritize the immediate demands of the gut over the systemic recovery and repair that normally occurs during sleep. Much of this conflict begins with the lower esophageal sphincter, or LES. This is a muscular valve designed to keep the corrosive acids in your stomach from reaching the delicate tissues of your throat. In an upright position, gravity keeps acid anchored at the stomach's bottom. The LES maintains a tight seal. But the moment you lie down, that gravitational advantage vanishes. Acid washes against the valve, exceeding its strength, and leaks into the esophagus. This causes silent inflammation and heartburn, eventually creating the conditions for chronic acid reflux disease. Without gravity to assist, the body's primary mechanical barrier between the stomach and the throat is completely compromised. While the esophagus deals with the acid, the brain faces a separate biological hurdle, the need for a lower core body temperature to trigger deep, restorative REM sleep. The intensive energy used by the stomach to process food generates significant internal heat. This keeps your core temperature elevated during the very window when it needs to be dropping. This temperature shift acts as a thermal blockade. On this chart, the top line shows how a drop in temperature allows the REM phase to engage. The bottom line shows how post-meal heat delays that drop, physically preventing the brain from entering deep sleep. To fuel the gut, the muscles stay tense and the heart rate remains elevated, keeping the central nervous system in a state of fragmented arousal. Digestion effectively traps the brain in an active state, preventing the neurological repair that only occurs during deep rest. This brings us to the caloric paradox, the fact that identical meals produce very different results depending on the timing of the final bite. Researchers tracked this by feeding subjects the same meal at 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. The divergence in blood sugar is striking. The 6 p.m. meal produced a moderate curve, while the 10 p.m. meal spiked 18% higher. With nighttime energy expenditure slowed, the late eating group saw a 10% increase in fat accumulation. Harvard researchers have also identified a shift in hunger hormones. Late eating increases ghrelin, which drives hunger, and suppresses leptin, the hormone responsible for feeling full. These hormonal changes mean that a late meal increases fat storage tonight and prepares the brain to overeat tomorrow. This creates a feedback loop where sleep disruption from one night's digestion influences tomorrow's food choices. The national health data reveals a specific pattern. Look at the bar for sodium intake. Those with insufficient sleep consume staggering amounts of salt, reaching nearly 3 times the recommended daily level. People with compromised sleep often lack essential vitamins, while their brains aggressively seek out high sodium and high sugar foods to compensate for low energy. The cycle is self-reinforcing. Poor sleep from late eating leads the brain to crave the very foods that further disrupt the metabolism. Reversing this requires adhering to the golden window, a buffer of 2 to 3 hours between your last meal and lying down. This is the minimum time needed for solid food to pass out of the stomach and into the small intestine, allowing the body to safely transition into its recovery mode. But if you find yourself in a situation where you must lie down shortly after eating, you can use an anatomical failsafe to minimize the damage. Lie on your left side. The stomach's asymmetrical shape means resting on the left places its bulge at the lowest point, safely trapping acid away from the valve. Lying on your right aligns stomach contents directly with the opening, allowing acid to pour straight through. Managing the timing and the position of your digestion is a master switch for preserving your sleep, balancing your hormones, and protecting your long-term health.